Hello and welcome to episode 6, I think now. We're looking into settings. So we're going to start with the controller settings, and if it's not too bad, we will move on to all the other assists and things that we've got going around, and then onto the UI, but I think we're going to have to split these up. So let's see. So on the controls, if you are on a wheel, then you want to start the game on the wheel. If you're using the controller, you don't get the choice. But it's something that we get caught out on a lot with people, where they start the game with the controller because it's nice and easy. Then they get to the game and you can't have both working. It's a PC port. There's nothing we can do. You just have to learn. If you've started it in the wrong one, hold down the PlayStation button, hit the options, close the game, and then open it again using the wheel. Normally, I will disconnect the controller, restart the PlayStation so I know there's no chance of it going wrong, and then start it with the wheel. You can check your calibration, make sure that everything's at 100%. Then you can come down and make sure that you've got a bit of a dead zone. I think there was a rumor at one point that just adding a 1% throttle dead zone changed things and let you get up to 100% of throttle. So do make sure that you just do that for yourself to give yourself the best chance. Steering lock, 900 on the wheel, 900 in the game. Should sort it out so it'll automatically do it per car and you don't need to worry about changing it. There was a time where you had to change it for different cars. You don't need to now. In terms of settings, you can see what my settings are. I would recommend you do some investigations yourself. Everybody's different, what they expect, what they want to feel through the feedback of the wheel. In terms of the gain, down in the bottom right, if you watch some videos, you will, in fact, if we just go to here, I'll have one now that we can use. If we just jump through, and you can see down in the bottom right, in fact, let's get a bit where we're on the track. There you go. In the bottom right now, you can see the FF little dial where it's just going up to red and touching on red. So if it's going red, it means it's trying to put so much force into the wheel and the wheel can't take it. So you want to give it a go, record the recent gameplay, go and watch it back and see through the corners, is that FF maxing out to red? And if it's maxing out, and I would say mine is just about maxing out there, then I would say to come back into the game and I'd probably turn it down to 80. And if you want more feedback then in the wheel, just turn your wheelbase force up slightly. So that's that. Yeah, have a play, see what you want for these different settings, the steering scale and things. Most of them I've left as is, like I said, except for that 1%. You can decide whether the Fanatec pedal rumble works or not. Then onto the control bindings. Oh, here we go. Right. So yeah, so make sure at the top here, the green line is above either the controller if you're using the controller, wheel if you're using a wheel. One thing to say that we do need to mention, because somebody's brought it to our attention, is that the Xbox button mapping for some of the Fanatec wheels doesn't seem to work well. There's no Moza support at the moment for the game. I think it currently uses the G29 feedback profile. So just be aware of that. Whether it will get support is very unlikely now, because we're going to get AC Evo on the PC, and then most of the effort for these games is going to be on that. It won't be trying to keep ACC going. Hopefully it's not too long before we get a port onto console, but we shall see. We've got the shift up and down buttons. They are obviously whatever you want to set on your wheel. Normally they will be the L1 and R1 buttons. Ignition and starter. The ignition is what turns the engine on and off. The starter is what rotates the engine and gets it going. So just turning the engine on and off won't actually start and let you go. You then need to use the starter. These are two buttons that I would recommend mapping. In fact, I think I went through these, but we'll go through them again as we go down. Pit limiter. If you've got manual pit limiter, you have to have this. You don't have to. I would say pick a button and have it mapped. If you're short on buttons, you can have automatic wipers. and you can have automatic lights. So that's 2 buttons saved. If you want the immersion and you've got the buttons spare on your wheel, you can toggle something. You can assign the wiper. There's a cycle through 3 different speeds of wiper, and then the on and off. The dash page here is on the car dash, so that will change the inboard, the cockpit display that you can see. If the car has it, you can do the next dash page. The secondary display is the little telemetry race logic blue box, and that can tell you all sorts of different things like your current lap time, your current delta, your stint time. There's all sorts of things that are just slightly bigger in the car. If you want the immersion, then you can set that again if you've got the buttons to do it. Once you find something that you want on it, you can get it set. You can come back in here and reassign the button, and it'll stay as whatever you had it as. Traction control, if you want to be able to change that during the race, can be very handy when it's variable weather. And I used it the other night when I was going around and suddenly it was like, oh, it's raining quite hard now and I'm still on my slick tires. So I was able just to bump my TC up just to stop myself from spinning out. Very valuable. Same with ABS if you feel the need for that. But again, these things don't have to be mapped once you're set. I raced for years and never changed them because I was like, once I was set in the way, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm good. I don't need to change anything. I'll just deal with it. Flasher is an interesting one. You don't really need it. It's used in multi-class racing. And by the time you are involved in those probably and using it, then you're probably beyond this anyway. Same with rain light. Automatic lights will cover you for that. But yeah, cycle the light stages. That's where you assign your lights button. Indicators, if you want them. Again, people get confused with what they mean. So I would just try and avoid using them. Just make sure you position your car cleanly so that people know what you're trying to do. The camera looking round is quite handy. The cycle camera is good to get out and change your cameras. But then once it's set, you don't really need to have that button. You can reassign that button as well. However, I don't use the directional pads for anything else, so it feels like that's a good one to change the camera and look around. Now, the MFD HUD up and down, they are worth doing. At least one, it will cycle through that menu on the left-hand side and multifunction display, and it'll go between the relative, the overall, the car settings, and the pit window, pit settings. You can also, if you've got buttons, you can just jump straight to one. If you're like, I need to get to the pit settings, you can assign a button and go straight there. But again, there's probably more options here than you'll have buttons on the wheel. Force feedback increase and decrease. So whilst you're getting used to it, you may want to assign these 2 buttons so you can go around and kind of go, oh, actually, I want to decrease it a little bit and try that. And then increase it a little bit and try that. And then once it's set, you can then come out and again reassign those. Save, replay, and add highlight can be good. Again, I forget to use them. I set the replay to a new version, and you can just save it after the race, and it'll save the whole race for you. And again, master volume, and then you get down to all the specifics for setting TCs and ABS to specific values, which is handy if you know you're going to want to go between, say, TC10 when it's raining to TC3 when it's dry. But most of the time, if you're going to have to assign 2 buttons, you really are just going to assign the up and the down. So I really wouldn't worry about that. There are ways if you've got the formula wheel with the 3 rotary dials. The middle dial dictates how the other 2 operate. And you can use those 2 dials on your formula wheel to assign like the TC so that you can spin it to the TC that you want. You may feel that that's a bit more authentic and go, oh yeah, I can turn this round and go, oh yeah, I'll turn it up or down one. It's a bit different. It's a bit more immersive. It's something different to enjoy. So that's all of the controller buttons there. Hopefully that's covered enough. Let me know if you want anything else in the comments. And we'll see. I'm going to record the next bit now and see whether we do it after this bit or in the next video. But I'll see you soon, whatever the case is. Bye for now.